this time, I'd like to call the South Union Township May monthly meeting to order. We'll stand for an opening silent prayer, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. To the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to have number 4, roll call. Mr. Schiffbauer.
Present.
Mr. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Vernon. Roadmaster's report for the month of April, I'll handle that. Let's see, we hauled compost 13 days, total 75 loads of compost we took over to the compost center. We replaced inlet on Dual Drive and Bryson Plan. We repaired yards from the plowing of snow over the winter, alley off of Connor Street, Brandy Wine and Heritage Hills, and a lot over on 2nd Street in Brownfield. Our sweeper truck went out 3 days. It was under, we had to get it repaired, so we got to use it the last 3 days in April. And we're on it, we're using it every day as of the first 3 days of May. We weed whacked the guardrails on Dixon, Wiggins, Cinder Road, Brownfield Lane, Brownfield Road, and we got the tractor back. It was in a repair shop also. We were on the tractor the last 2 days, and we had to cut a lot on Brook Street and Continental 1, which we have to lean every year. The owners are from New York, and they won't respond back to us. We picked up litter on Duck Hollow, Cinder, Township Drive, and Brownfield Lane. We replaced shrubs in the front of our building, and we put mulch around our building, also around the rec center. We put the plow trucks away, we cleaned them and prepared them for next winter. We repaired a storm drain on Meadowlark and Dove Drive, and we patched holes throughout the township. And also replaced curbs. If your curb has not been replaced and it's been damaged, please call the township. We'll take care of it. I think we got most of them. And we worked on the sheepskin trail 13 days in the month of April, and we cleaned drains throughout the township. Anything else you guys like to add? That's my report.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Scott?
Just that we did get the plow trucks all put away, which is good news, I'm sure, to everyone. And all the parks are open. All the restrooms are open. The parks have been cut. Things are looking good up there. So try and get out and check the parks out in the next few days. Thank you, Mr. Vernon.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Scott. We're going to item number. Did you want to get an agenda before we go into spot?
Yes,
Sure.
Thank you so much. Apologize.
No problem. We're going to item number 6 on our agenda, the Sewage Department report. Mr. Scott handles that for us.
During the month of April, we continued the painting of the Route 21 pump station. We had the steps removed. They're ready to be put back in. The painting is 90% complete. I was actually out there today, and he told me it should be done within the next day or so. We started doing it's a model. We're gathering documents. We're going to do a model on the Redstone sewer line, the manhole that sometimes discharges over here on the Brownfield Lane intersection, or Brownfield Road. And we're going to do a model to try to solve the problem, why it's overflowing, and also the greater Sewage Authority is also doing another study in the city of Uniontown where our sewage flows into to try to rectify the problem. So in the next 2 to 3 months, we're gathering all the data that's needed to perform the model. We're supposed to have it by August, and we should at that time know what we have to do to correct the problems. So we're just getting that started. It's something that should have been done a long time ago. As you know, we took over the Sewage Authority last January, and since then we've made some major improvements to the Route 21 pump station, and now we're going to try to fix these problems that were ongoing for years. But it's something that you can't fix overnight. People need to realize that. So we're taking the steps to try to rectify the situation. We also started our audit at the sewage department for 2016. It should be complete by next month's meeting. I will give a report then. Someone did cut the fence out at the Route 21 pump station and stole a couple little pieces of scrap. Nothing major was taken from there. We repaired the fence. And as I told you previously, we replaced 2 of the 3 pumps at the pump station. We're now actually going to replace the 3rd pump. We just wanted to see where our finances were in getting the other 2 pumps replaced. But we are ordering the 3rd pump and we're going to replace it. I know I brought it up before, but with just the Route 21 pump station, when we took over the sewage authority, they had a contract to build a new pump station. And the contract was $1.4 million with an addition of the electrical, which is another $100 and some thousand. To date, we've put $167,000 into the pump station to date, and it's up and running as if a new one. And we have no debt from this, and I think things are definitely going in the right. And that's why we're able to use money to do this model to try to rectify these other problems. If they would have gone through with the pump station, we would have been paying on that for 15 years to pay that off. So I think we're headed in the right direction, and that there are things we're doing that are you're gonna see major improvements in the next couple of years. Just in general, we've done 117 one calls in the month of April, 7 service calls, 3 new tap inspections, no issues at the other 2 pump stations. That completes my report for the sewage.
Thank
Do
you.
you have anything to add?
Anything, Mr.
Yeah, there was some question as to why the Board of Supervisors disbanded the sewage authority. And I think from the information provided by Mr. Scott, I think it's quite clear the reasoning behind our actions and the substantial savings of money in refurbishing the pumping station instead of spending a lot of money that we really didn't have to. And I think that's a good idea. Jason's put a lot of effort into the project with his background, and it sure has paid off for the townships and the residents of our township.
And I'll second that, Mr. Scott.
Thank you.
How well you worked on the sewage for us. Have an asset to be with us. Okay, before I go any further, I forgot to mention, if anybody looking up here don't realize we have 2 people on each end. Jim Davis from Davis & Davis is our solicitor. He has his son here today. He's out of town, so Jeremy Davis is here to Mr. Scott's left. And to my right, Mr. Over is not here, so he has his assistant, Bob Killinger, here next to Mr. Schiffbar. If you see 2 strange faces on TV, that's who they are. Mr. Killinger, Mr. Jeremy Davis. Okay? Let's go on to number 7, Code Enforcement Officer's Report. For the month of, I'll handle that. For the month of April, our code officer, which we have 1 full-time, 1 part-time during the day, 7 to 3:30, 1 Wednesday, 8 to 3:30, 3 days a week. And also, to explain something that some of you are confused, we approved code officers last month's meeting for the mall. We do not pay the mall security officer. We make them code officers for parking only, to write our parking ordinance violations. And we do not pay the mall for that. They handle the salary of the code officers, even if they do work for us with the parking situation. We also have 3 members working in the evenings and on weekends, so we're covered pretty well on the code officers. And they're the eyes for the state police. For the month of April, we sent out 7 letters for property repairs. We sent out 2 letters for junk vehicles. Remember, the car has to be inspected and drivable and has a current registration plate on it. We had 36 high grass and weeds. Again, this time of year, the grass is growing. We had 36. That means that these people are over 10 inches high for the month of April. We had a couple, I think, this month already, too, sent out. We had 1 quad complaint officially. We had citations issued as 12. Our full-time officer and part-time day officer drove throughout the township 1,827 miles, and our part-time officers drove 1,611 miles, for a total of 3,438 miles traveled throughout the township. And we had just 1 handicap ticket issued for the month of April. That concludes my report. Mr. Scott, Mr. Shipper, you have anything else like to add?
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go on to number 8, motion to approve minutes of the previous meeting. We have a motion to approve the
So
minutes.
moved.
Moved by Mr. Scott. I'll second Mr. Scott's motion. Question on the motion, roll call, Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Vernon, yes, and Mr. Shipper? Yes. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Comments on the agenda items. Do we have any comments on the agenda items? All right, we'll go on number 10, the Sheepskin Trail Progress Report. Mr. Shipper?
Thank you, Mr. Vernon. As you know, every month we give an update on the progress of the Sheepskin Trail, and the weather pretty much has been cooperating with our efforts. Right now, we are installing the netting that goes along a portion of the Uniontown Golf Course. That's the safety netting, and we should be done with that and have the netting installed sometime by the middle of next week. And we asked, even though the trail's not finished, we still have had some people using the trail, but we asked those who can't wait until we officially open it to try to stay away from that area until we have the netting up. They will be opening the driving range. That's where the netting is going to be installed. And we really would like to have everybody wait until the netting is in place and is much safer. Also, it looks like we should be, with the progress in the other areas of the trail, we should have no time making our deadline for the completion of the trail sometime by the first in the middle of June. And there's a lot of excitement to that. And things are moving quite smoothly, and our workers are doing an excellent job, and it will be a great addition to the township. Now we're going to be looking forward to seeing the county and other parts of the county putting in their segment so we can have that sheepskin trail open all the way from Connellsville to West Virginia. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Anything you want to add to that?
I'd just like to give Bob credit for all he's done on the trail. I mean, he's spent a ton of time on this trail, and can't believe he's got done doing what I did for a living, excavating. It's hard to believe he got done what he did in the winter time with our guys. So I commend him on how far he's gotten over the winter.
Thank you.
I do too, Mr. Shepard. Morning, noon, and night, you're out there. This is to take care of your health. It doesn't stop. Okay, number 11, adopt an ordinance adopting the floodplain ordinance. Mr. Scott, you want to handle that?
Yeah, about 2 months ago, we received a letter from FEMA saying that we needed to update our floodplain ordinance. So we actually had a county-wide presentation here at the township. I believe there was only 2 or 3 townships that showed up to the presentation. But more or less, I think our floodplain ordinance hadn't been updated since 1978, I believe was the last time it was updated. And what comes with it, there's new mapping that they've brought out, and in order for us to get the new mapping, for anyone in the township to receive flood insurance, you would have to adopt this. The township has to adopt this. So there's like a model ordinance that the federal government sends to the municipalities, and we're just adopting. They had 3 different grades. We're like a mid-level grade. Doesn't mean you can't develop in a floodplain. It just means they put restrictions so you don't end up. I know in our township we do have a couple places that houses were built in the floodplain. They do get flooded, and now people are always looking for, they'll buy the house not knowing that it gets flooded, and then 2 months later they're coming down here wanting to know why their house was flooded, and they were built in the 80s, and they just didn't disclose it at the sale. But do you have anything to add, Bob, on this?
The new ordinance will require permitting for work in a floodplain. It can be done at the township. Basically, that's what it's going to do. It's going to require flood-proof construction when you are building in a floodplain.
And like I said, we didn't limit. You could have went to one where it pretty much eliminates any construction in the floodplain. We didn't do that ordinance. More or less, this is a case-by-case basis we could look at and see if it's, if an engineer says that it can be built there, we still have the option. So I don't think it's real strict, but that's all I have. I'll make a motion that we adopt the ordinance for the floodplain. I need to say anything else, Mr.
No,
Davis?
I mean, just, it would be a motion to adopt the floodplain
Yeah.
ordinance
We advertise
as
it
presented
and
and
advertise.
advertised.
Yeah,
We have a motion
that's
to,
my motion.
motion to adopt. We have a second.
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Schiffbauer, any questions on the motion? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer?
Yes.
And Mr. Vernon, yes. Motion carries. Let's go to number 12, pass a resolution to apply for a grant from the Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Programs for 2.8-mile trail spur. Mr. Schiffbauer, that's your...
Yes, as some of you might know, that in addition to our sheepskin trail we're constructing here in South Union Township, we have developed a future plan of constructing spur trails. Right now we have on the books or the planning stages 4 spur trails, and this is the first spur trail that we're looking at, and that's the trail that will run from the southern head end of the Sheepskin Trail in Hutchison up through Hawkwood, around the Ambets net area, and into the Lick Hollow Park. That's the park there in Lick Hollow that used to be very used quite extensively, and part of the reason why we want to run the trail to the park is to try to help generate new life into the park. It's unfortunate that the park does not see nearly as much use as it had, and it falls right in line with the concept of doing trails, connecting recreation areas and bringing the residents to these areas. One good thing, the projected cost of the park right now, it appears to be around $177,000. Through the Greenways program, 85% of that grant money will be provided by the state, and the remainder will be provided by South Union Township. Our share will be in somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000. We're going to use the LSA money that was awarded to us by the state, or by, Fayette County. That's the, I believe, the casino money that Fayette County gets, and it will not be coming from our general budget. And I think it's just another addition to South Union Township for the health and wellness of the community. This gives us one more thing to attract new residents, and also to help people, keep the peoples living in South Union Township, giving them another reason to stay here and live here for many years. But I would like to make a motion that we apply for the Greenways program, and that South Union Township hereby requests a Greenways Trail and Recreation Program known as GTRP in the amount of $147,036 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for the construction of a 2.8-mile trail spur off of the 2.1-mile segment of the Sheepskin Trail to provide access to the Lick Hollow State Park picnic area. Be it further resolved that the applicant does hereby designate Robert Schiffbauer and Rick Vernon as officials to execute all documents and agreements between South Union Township and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to facilitate and assist in the obtaining the requested grant. That is my motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Schiffbauer. We have a second.
I'll second Mr.
Second by
Schiffbauer's motion.
Second by Mr. Scott. Any questions on the motion? We'll call Mr. Schiffbauer.
Yes.
Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon, yes. Motion carries.
Just to further clarify where the trail will run, it will go from the Hutchison Park area, Reservoir Road, Walnut Street, Mulberry Street, and it will also go over to Martha Street and Buttermilk Lane and back onto Lick Hollow Road. And that's the road that used to go into the park many years ago. It was closed off some time ago, but there's still a good solid base. That will be the only portion that we will have to physically construct. That would be from the end of Lick Hollow Road, where Nixon's landscaping business is located. So the actual construction, the physical construction portion of the trail will begin there and run into the park. We've been in communication with the DCNR who operates and manages the park, and they've offered some assistance from their part too when we start to work on the trail. So that's a description of where the trail will run and the location that will take us to.
Thank you, Mr. Shippar. Anything else, Mr. Scott, you want to add?
No, sir.
Covered it very well. Okay, go on item number 13, comments from the public. Do you have any comments from the public today? None? Okay, we go on to number 14, financial statement, our treasurer.
Okay,
Mr. Shippar?
Mr. Chairman, from our general fund account, $287,332.15. Investment account, $229,563.98. State fund, $456,729.04. The hydrant fund, $7,052.65. Athletic fund, $4,943.85. Payroll fund, $5,797.61. Chiefs Control, $60,690.15. North Union, South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $22,911.96. And from the Recycling Fund, $19,688.17, for a total of $1,094,709.56. And from the Sewage Fund, I will not read each account, but the total for the Sewage Fund is $2,306,653.90. All accounts total in the amount of $3,401,363.46.
I could just one correction, it's $2,306,000.
Okay, what did I say?
You said 2,000. $2,306,000. The grand total is correct then. Okay, thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Next item on the agenda, motion to pay all current bills. Our Secretary, Mr. Scott.
I'll make a motion to pay the current bills. Out of the North Union, South Union Intergovernmental Board Fund, $6,438.07. Out of the State Fund, $31,523.45. The Sheepskin Trail Fund, $16,075.78. The Hydrant Fund, $1,415.45. The Athletic Fund, $741.20. The Sewage Fund, $140,031.36. And from the General Fund, $234,646.82. That's my motion to pay the current bills.
We have a motion, do we have a second on that?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Shippar. Any questions on the motions? Roll call, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Shippar.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon, yes. Motion carries. Item number 16, our engineer from K2 Engineering, Robert.
In April, K2 Engineering received 88 total one calls on behalf of South Union Township. Of the 88 one calls, 10 were renewals for existing one calls, 20 were specifically for Cole Contracting, who is doing the patching for the pipeline project that's been going on, and 10 are for the northern pipeline for pipeline installation. We've also, from those 88 permits, or 88 one calls, we issued 5 total road opening permits. We also received in April 10 building permits, and 3 of those were commercial, the remaining were residential. 2 of those residential were demolition permits.
Any new commercial developments contacting K2?
Only
If you're allowed to say anything about it.
not that I'm aware of, other than the issue, the commercial permits that were issued was an interior renovation for Walmart. Speedway has a sign, and Aspen Dental, which is the new construction.
Thank you, sir.
On that note, I did talk to the representative from Columbia Gas about the construction that's going on in South Union Township over off of the Derrick Avenue. And he told me, I think it was on the 27th or 28th of April, that they have 2 weeks of restoration left. And that should be complete. So we're looking at like the end of the first week of May. The restoration should be complete, and they should be moving out of the Derrick Avenue area. They are starting construction in Hopwood. They have another area, and He told me one other area that they were going to do some construction that won't start until the later end of June. So the construction on Derrick, I know it's been a while, but he said 2 more weeks and they'd be out of there, so that was good news.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Scott. Number 17, our solicitor, Mr. Jeremy Davis. Any updates for us or anything you want to tell the township?
I have no report tonight, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. That concludes the end of the video. Number 18 is for adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn at 4:24 PM.
Motion by Mr. Scott, do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Schiffbauer. Roll call, Mr. Scott.
Yes.
Mr. Schiffbauer.
Yes.
Mr. Vernon, motion carries. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you very much.